All right, guys. So what we need to do that we didn't do yesterday is we took a look at how we can produce lists, how we can pull items out of list, how we can slice lists. Today I want to show you how we can delete things out of lists, which we call that, meaning that lists are mutable. In other words, we can mutate our list, and also how we can sort of add things into the list. And we can just sort of tack them on to the end of a list. We can put them in a very specific spot, and we'll take a look at all of that today. All right, so guys, we are going to start out here with list mutations. And whenever I think of mutations, the term we use here is mutable in computing, is I actually think of Ninja Turtles personally. So for my list today, we are going to make a list of ninjas. And I am going to, don't forget square brackets here, put in my list the four main turtles. I'm going to put, but I'm going to shorten their names so it's easy. Leo, Mike, Raph, and Don. Don Toth. Okay, there we go. All right, so there we go. All right, you don't have to put the Toth part if you don't want to, because I don't believe he was a Ninja Turtle. He might be part of the Foot Clan. I'm not sure. All right. So anyway, there's my list I created. And just to make sure my list works here, I am going to go ahead and print out my list, ninjas, and we can run that if we want to at this point, and I'm going to do that. And there's my list. It pops up in my shell over there, Leo, Mike, Raffendahl. Okay, so we created a lovely little list here. Now we got to do some things to that list. Again, guys, in the shell, I like to keep things tidy, so I'm going to put in my little default space there with my double quotes. Okay, now what I would like to do, guys, is I would like to, in this case, I don't want to, place, I like that. In this case, I don't want to, I can't speak. Uh, I don't want to delete anything from the list or add anything through all of those steps. That's a little too complicated. Instead, what I'd like to do is just replace something in the list, okay? And it's fairly easy to do that. You don't really need a special command. I don't have to like say ninjas.replace or anything like that. All I have to do is call on my list, ninjas, okay? Specify a location. I would like to get rid of Mike, Michelangelo. Why? Because he's like toddler's favorite Ninja Turtle, right? So, and by everybody knows that Raphael is by far the most interesting of the Ninja Turtles, right? Or maybe Donatello. Definitely not Leo. Leo's like a brown noser, you know. So anyway, I'm going to replace. Oh, let's replace Leo then, right? Let's get rid of Leo. So what I have to know, guys, is I need to know what position is Leo in. So what position is he in the list? 0. Okay, so I'm going to say ninjas 0, right? Whoops. All right. And then all I'm going to do is say I'm going to set this equal to, all I'm doing is I'm calling specifically this spot. We're getting rid of Leo, and I'm going to put Splinter in his place. Okay? So I'm going to hashtag over here, and I'm going to say that this replaces Leo with Splinter. Okay? Why does it replace Leo? Because he is in position, whoops, 1. Okay, so that's pretty much it, right? So now if I print out my list called ninjas, you can go ahead and do that if you want to. Run it, and notice my new list. It has changed. I swapped out Leo for Splinter. So instead of Leo, Mike, Raph, and Don, as it was the first time, it is now Splinter, Mike, Raph, and Don. So that's a handy little trick, right? That's actually really nice and easy. Okay, so I'm going to put a little space in here, and we're going to move on to the next little thing. Okay, so that's called that is called a mutation right there. So we mutated Leo into Splinter. All right, what if we just want to up and get rid of something that's already in the list? Okay, so let's take a look at list deletions. The interesting thing here is when we're talking about genetics and biology, we actually use the term mutations and deletions. Deletion is a specific type of mutation. That's interesting. All right, so what's that? DNA is absolutely a code, so it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? All right. So let's say then, guys, that what I want to do is I want to get rid of one of these characters in here. Who should I get rid of? So now remember my list is now Splinter, Mike, Raph, and Don. Who do we want to get rid of? All right, let's get rid of Mike. Okay. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to say DEL for delete. Put a space in there. write your list ninjas, and then in square brackets, Mike is in the position 1, so I'm going to say ninjas 1. And so what that is going to do is it's going to delete out whatever is in my list in the 1 position, right? So if I go ahead and print ninjas one more time here and run it, my list now has been abbreviated. I deleted Mike, so it just consists of Splinter, Raph, and Dawn, right? We got rid of Mike. He's no longer there, right? When I was a kid, Mike was definitely my favorite. That was when I was in like 2nd grade, right? When I grew up and I got more angsty, then it switched to Raphael. And in the new ones, he's like the big brawny guy, which in the old Ninja Turtles, he wasn't. He was like the wisecracker. He was like super sarcastic and really like dry sense of humor. Anyway, things changed, right? Things. He was basically what? He was a lot like Chad. Chad, get yourself a red mask, do some vigilante action on some Walmart, thieves or something like that. There you go. All right. All right. So anyway, there we go. There's one way to get rid of the guys, but I want to show you another way we can get rid of things. Okay. Well, actually, there's a couple of ways. I'm going to show you another in a minute. I do want to show you that we don't have to delete just one at a time. We actually can sort of delete in bulk, and we do it the same way. So I'm going to say delete ninjas, but this time what I'm going to do is in my square brackets, I'm going to use like a range. So I'm going to get rid of everybody but Donatello. So I'm going to delete everything from 0, position 0 to position 2. Remember, that does not actually get rid of position 2, right? It just gets rid of position 0 and 1. And then if I print out my ninjas one more time so I can actually see something, what I'm going to see is my list has now been taken all the way down to just consisting of one element or item, and that is good old Donatello has survived. Okay? All right, so that's my list deletions. If we can delete, we can add, and this is the last thing, guys, right here. Adding to the list. And we can do this in a couple of different ways, okay? I'm actually going to show you one more way to get rid of something from a list, but it makes more sense if I do it here. All right, so what I want to do is I want to add, my list is really short now. It just consists of Dawn. So I want to add some more ninjas or things related to Ninja Turtles to my list here. So one of the things I can do is append my list. So if I say ninjas dot append, whatever I put in parentheses here, I can actually just add to the list. Now it will specifically add it to the very end of the list. Okay? So if I had Splinter, Mike, Raph, and Dawn, and I'm going to add April O'Neil, it would put April O'Neil as the last item in the list. Okay? In this case, I don't want to add April. I'm going to add Shredder. Okay? So I'm going to put him in quotes because he's a string. Okay? And so I'm going to tab over here and say append adds to end of list. Okay. So if I want to do that, I'm going to go ahead and add one more in here while I'm at it so I don't keep hitting it. So I'm going to append, and I'm going to add a really cool little character that got his own mini comic at one point, Usagi Yojimbo. So I'm going to add Usagi in there. Okay? All right. Then I can go ahead and one more time, we're just working in this same list over and over again. I'm going to print my ninjas and watch what happens. Okay? There we go. So now my list consists of Donatello, Shredder, and Usagi Yojimbo. So you can see that our list just keeps changing, both in length and in characters that are in there. Okay. So I am going to do one more little thing here, and that is if I want to say not add something to the end of the list, but I would like to put something specific, smack dab in the middle of my list or in a specific position, because position may be important to your code. If I don't want to use append, I can use the insert. The only thing with the insert is you have to tell it where to go, okay? So I'm going to say ninjas dot insert. And when I do an insert, the first thing I have to provide is I have to provide the location. So let's put this at, what do I got here? I've got 0, 1, 2. I want to put something at place 2. I want to put something between Shredder and Usagi, so I'm going to put 2. And then I'm going to put what I'm going to add in there. Who should I add in there? How about Bebop? He was a good character. All right. And I'm going to put Bebop in there. And so I can print my ninjas one more time here for good measure. And whoops, I did something wrong. Oh, how about instead of using the word inster, I use the word insert. How about that? It's personal preference. There we go. And so what happened is instead of putting Bebop at the end of the list as the append function would do, I put him in position 2. So now it goes Don, Shredder, Bebop, Usagi, and I've got him in there. So last thing I want to put in here then is I'm going to go ahead and hashtag this and put in, for our parameters, the first is list position, and the second parameter is the element to add in. Okay? Now, because this kind of goes along the lines of what we're doing here, there is one more way to get rid of something specific from a list if I don't want to eliminate a position and I don't know where something is. Let's say I have no idea where Shredder is in the list, but I definitely want to get him out of the list. I can do one more thing. I can say ninjas dot remove, and instead of providing a position in square brackets in my regular parentheses, I can actually specify Shredder and get rid of him and try that out. And we should see that Shredder will be removed from that list no matter where he is. And that's kind of a nice feature too. Whoops. Okay. And there we go. I don't know why I did it twice, but there we go. Oh, that's why. There we go. All right. So there we go. I could also remove something specific from a list if I need to. I know that doesn't really go under our heading hashtag adding to the list, but it sort of was in the same format where we take our list dot some function and that takes care of it. Okay. All righty, guys. The rest of the period then is yours to work